up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Ajiona and we are locked in. This is the recap for BMF episode 3. What do we know about BMF? We know that Meech is standing on business, expanding to Cleveland. We know Terry is standing on business, expanding the sedan business. And we know that Lamar is out of the hospital and he is seeking revenge. Now, I get this episode a 9 out of a 10. I'm loving what they're doing with this BMF. So before we jump into this and give the recap, if you like BMF content, breakdowns, theories, predictions, live after show discussions, hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Make sure you hit that like button and follow me on Instagram. Now, BMF, we about to take off. Episode 3, that's where we see them start to climb that hill to take us to episodes 5 and 6. And then, you know, 7 and 8 is where we normally see all of the action. So let's jump into it. This is the recap for BMF episode 3.
You blowing money fast on this side. I think I'm Big Meech.
We start the episode off talking about Devil's Night. Now, this is before Halloween night, and in Detroit, there was a moment where there was a lot of buildings getting burned down. So we see Meech and his family patrolling the neighborhood, making sure that people aren't burning down any of their houses. So they're chasing them down, and at this moment in time, we see that Charles, he's really ecstatic to have his son Meech and Terry out there. He said, man, Meech was leading the charge. So at one point, Charles was happy and proud of his son Meech. Fast forward, we see Charles going through the books of the sedan business and Terry saying we should drive on Devil's Night and Halloween because most cars, they aren't going to be driving. Everyone is scared and they stay in the house. Now, Charles is saying that's a good idea. It's just we can't refuse rides from anybody. Terry, we can't throw no one out the car. Terry, and we need to be respectful. Terry. Terry's like, all right, we got it. Now, on the news, what do we hear in the background? 8,700 pounds of that pure cocaine was seized. While Terry is getting ready to take little Nikki to school, we got Meech over here with Monique. Now they laid up, smoking a little bit, enjoying their time with each other. Now he gets a phone call, and this phone call is relating to what just happened. 8,700 pounds is gone, and his cousin, James, got robbed. Unfortunately, on the way to school, Terry has some issues with the sedan. All the tires seem like they were slashed. He ends up swerving off the road, losing control, and little Nikki's in the back seat, hits her head on the front seat, gets a little concussion. And we're all wondering, what the hell just happened to the vehicle? Over at K9's illegal gambling operation, there's a guy named Sterling Black who is basically security in here. Top dog, got a knife on him, making sure you ain't cheating. And if you cheat, if you violate, you will get a demonstration. And you don't want this demonstration because it isn't something you applaud at the end. Back in K9's office, he's talking a little bit about the 8,700 pounds of dope that got seized. Now, Meech is saying, my cousin got hit up in Cleveland. I need you to front me some. And I know you got some of that work left because I've been working directly with you. Now, K9 is about to give Meech a easy business 101, economics, whatever you want to call it. He's telling Meech, look, there's a shortage of drugs. I got a huge supply, the supply and demand. The more demand for a little supply means I get to increase my prices. So I can do something for you, Meech. I can get you some work only if you go get the loudmouth Travis that was doing all the talking last week in the gambling spot. After hearing he needs to get Travis, Meech says, if I deliver him, you gonna give me that work? K9 said, we'll work something out. But Meech has to do this. His back is against the wall. And if Meech ain't got to work, someone else can easily pop up and start to take over where 12th Street and 50 Boys were if they got a constant supply. Back at the crime scene, we see Charles is actually pulled up to talk to Terry about everything that's going on. The car is on the back of the tow truck. Nikki is bandaged up in the back of the ambulance. And Charles is thinking, you just couldn't leave the dope game alone. And Terry is trying to convince his father, Dad, I didn't have anything to do with this. This isn't part of the dope game. This doesn't have anything to do with Meech, because we know Charles was looking for anything that he could say to involve Meech into this. But we really know that this is probably from Touch of Class car service. Detective Brian and Detective Veronica, the tag team partnership that we didn't know that we needed, and we do to move this show forward. Now, Brian comes in with information and says the two guys that we arrested, they weren't 50 Boys, they were 12th Street. And it looks like these two have combined with each other to make BMF, and Meech is still in charge. So Detective Brian's sole mission and only purpose on this earth right now is to figure out how he can capture Meech. And he wants to capture Meech harder than the guy that wanted to catch Moby Dick. But unfortunately in the book, he never caught Moby Dick. Meech heads back to the record store because he has to tell his right-hand man, second in command, B. Mickey, we're looking for a guy named Travis. I don't know what he looks like, but I could remember him if I see him. He's from Brightmoor, so I'm gonna go search for him and I'm gonna need your help. And of course, we know that B. Mickey has been talking with Detective Brian. So anytime you see his face, he's always looking surprised because he doesn't know if Meech has caught on to him snitching. Roland shows up and tells Meech, Nikki got in a wreck, Terry got in a wreck, we need you now. And that's it. Meech shows up to the house. Nikki, she's playing sick. Now, she did have a concussion, so she shouldn't have been going to school the next day anyway. But she's at the house. Terry comes down and Meech explains to them, we may fight every single day of our lives, but we're still family and we love each other. And I always said that Meech and Terry, they're always going to be close. That bond is always going to be there, even if they disagree. Now, Terry is saying he handled everything that happened with the car, and Meech is like, well, I might have to look into this also. And Terry's like, now I got to go handle the insurance part of this. Terry goes back to the insurance company to talk to Markeisha about what he's covered on his insurance policy. Well, it turns out Markeisha sold him the basic package, which is really just liability. It doesn't cover slashed tires, vandalism. It doesn't even cover damage to the vehicle. So Terry's going to have to come out of his pockets for everything. Now, Markeisha does say he made some bad enemies by messing up the Touch of Class brochure by putting his name on there. And the guy's name is Cleet that owns Touch of Class. Lamar is with his cousin Alvin at the mortuary and he's sleeping in one of the body bags because he don't want anyone to know that he's out. He wakes up, he scares Alvin, and the first thing he does is looks over at this corpse and he says, let me get those gators off of him and I'm about to go hit the streets. I gotta find Meech and Terry and someone's gotta answer for everything that's happened to me. B. Mickey, that means you also. Terry's flipping out because he now knows that Cleet, Touch of Class, did this to his vehicles, hurt him and harmed his sister. So him and Markeisha decide during her lunch break to go get some nice delicacies, some wine. And she's basically explaining to him that, listen, the media isn't going to cover Detroit like we know what's going on in Detroit. People are doing insurance fraud. Now, this could be foreshadowing for Terry to potentially think about doing later on. But right now, Terry is more worried about flirting with Markeisha than getting even. Lamar has on an Adidas tracksuit and some gators. And where is the first place he goes? He goes to the school where little Zoe goes to school. His daughter, even though we know it's not his daughter. But he goes up there and she sees him. The bus comes. And of course, Lamar disappears like a thief in the night. B. Mickey is supposed to be out and about looking for this gentleman named Travis. They're looking any and everywhere. Where could Travis be? He had a messed up fade. He's loud. Let's go find him. He got some tattoos. Well, while B. Mickey is out and about, Detective Brian, aka family member Brian, comes and lights up his weed for him and tells him, take a walk with me because you're not giving me all the information that I want. And B. Mickey, he obliges. Meech goes to a tattoo parlor. He has to rough up the tattooist a little bit, let him know I'm not playing with you and I need his name, his information, where he lives, what is he doing, what time is he coming in to get this tattoo finished up. And of course the guy's playing tough at first until Meech whoops on him a little bit. And after you get hit in the gut and they put a tattoo gun to your eye, you're going to give up that information. Now he has where Travis lives, and we also know that Travis drives a black Grand National, should be sitting out front. But Meech gets a phone call from Monique and she lets him know that, hey, Zoe thinks that she's seen Lamar. And Meech, the last time he seen Lamar, all he remembers was he shot him. So he should be dead. Detective Brian takes B. Mickey out to these shipping containers, and inside of them there are bodies. And what he's telling B. Mickey is the drugs you're putting on the streets, all of these people that are dying, there's so many of them, we can't even keep them in the hospital. We have to put them in these shipping containers. And Kato, your beloved Kato, the one you killed, she's in one of these. And I forgot to mention to you, Kato was pregnant. So not only did you kill Kato, you killed your child. And B. Mickey throws up. It has him second guessing everything he's been doing. And whenever a man makes this kind of face, you already know he's about to give up some information. Now, Detective Brian does tell B. Mickey, I still want Meech, so tell Meech you got a new connect. He has medical grade drugs, and I want to meet with Meech, and you're going to set him up. Look at B. Mickey's face, and I guarantee you already know what B. Mickey is about to do. Meech is running around the city. He knows he needs to get Travis alive and brought back to K9. Now he goes over to this junkie's house. Turns out this junkie, her name is Grace. Grace has a young child. Grace also used to be the babysitter to Meech. So now Meech has a personal connection with her, and he sees that, damn, she ain't doing good. And of course, the junkie's gonna do what the junkie gotta do to get a hit. She tells Meech, hey, look, if you give me a hit, I give you the information, or you can come and get some of this. And Meech is looking at it like, no, let me call B Mickey, and I'm gonna bring you some dope and some McDonald's for the baby. We know that Lucille and Charles been having their problems, so to get these issues off of our mind, we're going into church. And of course, our man Charles is in there playing the guitar like ain't no one ever played that guitar. You know the saying, good things don't last forever, because Lucille ain't been giving Charles no loving, and Charles is up here having a little bit too much fun during his solo with his background guitar player. Lucille goes to the only person she can talk to on an adult level about the issue she has going on in her home, and that is Pastor Swift. Now, Pastor Swift, we already know that he may be a little crooked. We don't know what exactly he's into, but he's giving sound advice and telling her, listen, you need to be submissive to your husband. She said, it takes a lot for me to do that. He says, hey, it's not my position to talk about nobody's household, but you need to open up that Bible. You need to pray and figure out how you can become submissive. And while you do that, I'm going to go talk to Brother Charles. But it looks like Pastor Swift's eyes are doing a little bit of wondering. Pastor Swift goes to talk to Charles about not being prosperous at his house and not getting any. And Charles did like any man would. It doesn't matter who you are, cloth on you not, pastor, preacher, pope. Charles said, don't talk to me about what's going on in my household, because if you do, it's going to take a little bit more than holy water to bring you back from this ass whooping. Charles is having a rough day. Pastor just came over and talked to him about not getting none at the house, talked to him about throwing away his dirty magazines just for him to go back to the business, and all of the sedans are messed up. And he's telling Terry, whatever you got going on, you need to fix this. We need to do this my way, because what you're doing, Terry, is dangerous not only for you, but for the company and for our family. Now, you got to remember, Denise is the third driver. They have 4 vehicles. 1 vehicle is down because Terry was out here wilding out. Now, Denise is saying, listen, I have a son in college I need to pay for. We need to figure out whoever did this and go get even. So now Terry is bringing the streets more into the sedan business. Lucille and Charles have a talk that they desperately been needing to have. Now, we know that there's a Sears tab still open that hasn't been paid off. Lucille is looking real good in here. Mama Meech said, why are you going to Miss Mabel's house? He said, I got to go make some money. She said, you haven't painted the walls here. It's been 2 years. And Charles said, I got to clear my mind. You've been talking to Pastor Swift about what we got going on. So he leaves, and Lucille, she's just looking like, man, what's going on? Why is Charles acting like this? Charles goes over to Miss Mabel. He's over here putting up a ceiling fan. She's sweeping the floor, dancing. I said, okay, Miss Mabel, what you got going on in there? She came out. She had $40 and said, Charles, let me see you shake something. Charles got down, did a little bit of dancing. She said, here go your 40. Charles looked at her and he could see that she was pushing up on him. He said, oh no, I got a wife. And he did like any loyal husband would. He took that $40 and he left. Brian and Veronica, this relationship is starting to build. She actually bought on the book of Moby Dick. And he was saying we can't pick and choose who we save. But while they're out and about, we know that there is a lot of fires going on within the city. Detective Veronica hops out the vehicle, runs inside of this house. Now, they say it's a whorehouse, but she goes in there and she saves a John, basically a trick. Doesn't matter who it is, that's their job. Now, you hear everyone in the street saying, F the police. Everyone always says F the police till they need the police, till they need to call the police, because you call the 911 dispatch, which is the police, and they notify the fire department. But that's neither here or there. Detective Brian is looking like you risked your life for these people. Now, when I say these people, it's because Detective Brian separates himself from the people in the streets. Terry and Denise, they put together a plan to go get even with a touch of class and let Cleet know, hey, you don't talk that nonsense to us. You don't mess up our vehicles. Now, Denise knows her way around a vehicle. She used to work at GM. So they come up with a plan, put a little bit of sugar in some of the car's tanks, and they basically cut the brake lines of a couple of vehicles. This sedan business war is serious. Meech and B Mickey, they found out where Travis lives. It's time to go get him. Well, it turns out Travis is in the house with none other than K9's girl, Peaches. And they getting it on. They getting it on. And we're thinking, I thought Peaches was loyal. But this is the dope game. There's no such thing as loyalty. Not even your best friend, not even a family member can be trusted in the dope game. K9 specifically told Meech, bring Travis back to me alive, because he wants to be the one to kill him. Well, when they busted in on him, he was doing his thing with Peaches. A shootout happened, and B Mickey killed Travis. Now we see Peaches in here. She's like, damn, K9 sent y'all. Well, I'm still gonna do my thing regardless to what you tell him. But they gotta take this body back and let K9 know, well, we found him, but he's not alive. K9 laid the law down. He said, bring Travis back alive because I want to be the one to kill him. Now, Meech brought back a dead body, and he also relays information that Peaches was over there. Disloyal trick. Now, K9 just told Meech, you not getting none of that work. You can't get an ounce from me. And he walks off. Business is business. K9 said what he wanted. Meech didn't deliver. And B Mickey tells Meech, I gotta connect. He got that medical grade dope. So Meech is saying, set it up, because we need some product. It turns out the person that Detective Veronica saved was actually a veteran. Now, she did save him. He was in the Vietnam War. My pops was also. So for her, she's saying they wouldn't have survived in Vietnam if it wasn't for the brave soldiers, the black men that got drafted to go over there and fight a war that wasn't their war. Now, for her to get through her PTSD, it's a weird thing, but she takes the lighter out. She burns herself a little bit, but that's how she gets through it. I don't agree with it, but everyone has their own ways. You remember Touch of Class, Mr. Cleet? Well, his brakes went out. Guess who pulls up on him? Terry, Roland, Meech, and they whoop his ass. And just let him know, next time you do something to our vehicles, we're gonna bury you. So I think Cleet got the message. Terry just got done whooping a man's ass. Hands are bloody. He drives by the insurance company, and who does he see? Marquisha coming out very late. Well, she doesn't want to look Terry in the eye. And the reason for that is because she got beat on by her husband, Boone. Now, he does this, she said, but this is the father of her kids. She wants to stay with him. Now, Terry's saying you deserve better, and he inserts himself into this drama, and they get to kissing. And he's looking for Boom now. You remember Lamar showed up to the school. Well, Monique is at the house with Zoe. They playing a little bit of Monopoly, and she gets a phone call. No one answers. You hear a car outside, and when she opens up the door, there's some eggs in the door. The same ones that Lamar used to buy Zoe. So now Monique is very scared. And when I tell you scared, very scared. Lamar has risen from the death. Meech and Terry's bond is getting back solid. We know BMF is the organization now, and Terry is saying, hey Meech, thanks for rolling with us to go get Cleet. We handled that, and now everything should be good. And you hear Meech say, no problem, man. You my brother. This is for life. All of us, this is BMF. That was always Meech's dream, Black Mafia family. We move like the mob, but we're a family, and we look out for each other. Now, they got to meet up with this new connect to get this medical grade dope. So he's like, B Mickey, let's roll. Terry said, I'm going to go get a glizzy. We see B Mickey hesitant to take Meech because we know if he takes Meech to this rendezvous point, Meech is getting arrested. Detective Brian is looking and waiting. B Mickey instead hops out. He goes to the payphone. He's stalling a little bit. And who pulls up? Lamar and some gators. And what does he do? He shoots Meech. Bang, bang, bang. Detective Brian and Veronica, they show up. They scare Lamar off. And Detective Brian is trying to arrest Meech. But Detective Veronica says, no, we got to take him to a hospital. This man just got shot. This man isn't at a drug deal. As of right now, Meech is a citizen that's been shot by a random person in a Jeep. And they escort Meech to the hospital. Terry's driving, Roland's in the back. Detective Brian is up front, upset that he couldn't arrest Meech. There you go, episode 3 of BMF. Like I said, I give it a 9. This story is very, very interesting. I like how they're playing it out. Meech, K9 K9 ain't giving him no work, and he almost got set up by B Mickey. Let me know what you think about B Mickey and Detective Brian's relationship. How is this going to play out? How much longer can B Mickey do what Brian wants him to do before Meech finds out? Let me know what you think. Make sure you tune in tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, for the live after show discussion for BMF episode 3. It's going to be a good one. I'm Mo.J. If you like this content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.